All right, guys, joining me here on the program is a friend of the show. I can't wait to see what's next for him. One of the most loved fighters in the lightweight division is in the house. Beneil Dariush, welcome back to Submission Radio, man, on the heels of a very interesting UFC 313 for your division, right?
Yeah, it's a really interesting weekend. I saw some people called me out, and Gaethje fought Fiziev, and just overall the card was really good.
Yeah, man. Well, first things first, I want to get to this Fiziev Gaethje fight. I know you mentioned you had some people over last night. You guys were watching the fights, I presume. What did you make of part two between Fiziev and Justin Gaethje, man?
Um, Obviously Justin's a friend, so it's stressful to watch Justin fight, especially the way he fights.
Yeah.
I remember just constantly saying, why? I kept asking myself, why? Why does he keep dipping like that? He does this dip to the right that was really stressing me out. And I'm like, he's gonna get kneed, he's gonna get kicked in the head, he's gonna get all this, and he got kneed one time in the head, but I mean, he took it like a champ. But the same thing I was complaining about, like stop doing it, is the same thing that allowed him to get the knockdown. So it's like one of those big risk, big reward things. He dipped under, came up with an uppercut, and he was able to drop Fiziev. So his style, man, his style is just stressful.
It's interesting as well because it was almost like the first fight, right? Like Fiziev was able to find some success at the start of the fight, and then Justin was sort of took over towards the second part of the fight. But when you saw Rafa doing his thing in that first round and a little bit in the second, and like in the third as well, he was trying to come back. What were your thoughts as you saw Rafa doing his thing? A lot of
Yeah,
knees,
I
a lot of
mean,
kicks.
if you think about it, what Rafa did was really good. Was maintain the distance in the first round. He didn't really engage what I would call in the short distance, almost to the point where they're clinched like that close. And when he did that, he was having a lot of success staying on the outside, catching kicks, even getting takedowns. Just being able to counter Justin. Once I think it takes a lot of energy to do what he was doing. Once it got into the second round, he wasn't able to quite do the same. I don't know. There was some talks of injury possibly for his toe. I'm not sure, but round two and three were different. He wasn't able to keep that distance. He was not able to basically keep Justin off of him, and Justin knew this guy didn't have a full camp, and Justin knew he could push harder and make him tired, and that's what Justin did. He just
Mm.
he pushed the pace basically, and I think the fight would have been really different if Rafael had a better gas tank for this fight.
Yeah, 12 days notice. He had that thing on his toe where he lost a bit of skin. I couldn't believe it. At one point, he was like kicking like Justin Gaethje in the torso area, and he just like threw like kick, 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 kick. It was like Street Fighter, where someone presses the same button over and
Yeah.
over.
So,
Kick, 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 kick. And then it happened again in the main event between Pereira and Uncle Ive. Uncle Ive was just like straight, 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 like five
yeah.
straight. Right. Did you agree with the scorecards? Did you have Justin Gaethje win this one?
I did. I did have Justin winning. I thought he won the second round clearly, and then the third round, I thought he outworked Rafael. And as far as it was really smart what Fiziev was doing, because if you're constantly, he realized Justin doesn't really answer kicks too much, so he was just like, man, I'll just throw this kick. I don't have to throw it full power because I don't have the cardio. But if I continue to throw it, it looks good on the judge's scorecard. So he was spamming that kick with a very good and clear mind. It wasn't like he's just so exhausted he doesn't know what to do, so he's just spamming kicks. No, I thought it was actually what kept the fight closer, as close as it was, because you could argue he won the third. Obviously, I don't. I think he didn't, but you could argue it, and I think those kicks were one of the reasons why you could argue that.
Yeah, stepping in 12 days notice against Justin Gaethje, having a close fight like that. I mean, Rafael Fiziev, he's not really losing steam here. I think people are excited to see him back in the middle of the action. Let me ask you this. Dana White saying that there's a possibility, a chance that Justin Gaethje might be in the conversation to potentially fight Islam next. What do you reckon? Do you want to see Gaethje get this next title shot against Islam over Ilia Topuria?
See, I don't know if Ilya's the one. I think Ilya's obviously very deserving, but I also understand Justin's never fought Makhachev, so Justin also that fight makes sense. So I think Ilya would be first in my opinion, and but if there's an opportunity for Justin, I think for sure I wouldn't be against it because Makhachev has fought just about everybody else.
Mm. I mean, a lot of people talk about that Khabib fight, him and Khabib, but Islam, he's kind of worked on his striking, right? So the striking is a little bit, I would say, a little bit more advanced than Khabib, would you say? Like better kicks, maybe a few more combos, a bit more aggressive. How would you see a fight between Islam and Justin going?
You know, I would say his striking is more refined, but at the same time, I would say actually Habib was more aggressive with his strikes. He would come out and you would see crazy hooks, flying knees, and then right when you're like, oh, you know what, I'm not gonna let this guy push me around with strikes. Boom, he shoots on you,
He dropped Conor
and
McGregor
yeah, exactly with the
with that
overhand.
sneaky
So
shot. Yeah.
yeah, so that was the whole thing. He would pressure you with a lot of strikes, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna answer this guy. Bam, he shoots. Um, Stylistically, I think it's very different. Makhachev is southpaw, and that makes it a little bit harder sometimes to get takedowns. And he does like to strike more. It would be a really interesting fight to see between him and Justin. If Justin can keep the proper distance, um, I think he could definitely cause some damage, especially with his leg kicks. One thing you have to understand. Um, when you pressure Justin, it's a lot harder for him to throw those leg kicks. Habib kind of runs forward at you, while Makhachev slowly cuts the cage off with fakes and step by step, counters. He moves you back towards the wall. So it definitely is a different fight. It's not going to be exactly the same fight. But as far as submission goes, you could definitely say Makhachev has even better submissions. You know, he goes for more submissions. So I think I think it would be it would definitely be a tough fight for Justin.
Mm. Yeah, Makhachev creating his own versions of submissions.
Yeah.
Exhibitions that don't even exist, or little variations on them. Let me ask you this, man. Obviously, a big night for 155. What was the reaction before we even get to the call out of Mauricio Rufi's crazy knockout over King Green? That was unbelievable, right?
Yeah, I was talking to my friends. I was like, man, I'm pretty sure he's gonna finish him in the first round, and then he finished him like that. I was like, man, it was even more impressive than what I was expecting. So I would say overall I was very impressed with the guy. As far as the call out goes, like man, you could call out whoever you want. I don't really care. It's like Dana, Sean Shelby, and Hunter. It depends on who they want me to fight, right? Because that's kind of where I'm at right now. Plus, if you're in the rankings, because at this point, man, there was a period where I fought a guys a lot outside of the rankings, and it didn't really move me that much forward. So at this point, I want the fights that are going to get me to the title the quickest. So that's really what I'm waiting for is to get that call and be like, okay, you're fighting this guy, you're fighting that guy who are ranked. That's the ideal situation. But if they call me to fight him, then so be it. Then we're fighting him.
Mm. Is it a situation for you as well where it's like, this is the guy that's gone viral? People are saying, oh, this guy, he's the future of the division, or maybe like he's unstoppable. So in a way, like taking him out versus say, I'm just having a look at the rankings, like a BSD or, Grant Dawson. I know like Turner's going to be out there, but some of the guys that are sort of lower in the rankings, or even that Moicano fight, maybe going out there and having a decisive victory over Mauricio might actually get you a bit more in terms of like cred from fans and more momentum to move up the division in a way. It's weird how the division even works, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know because for example, when I fought Gamrot, he was supposed to be the next thing, right? He was supposed to be, he was coming off that win from Armand. He had such a
That's
great
right.
fight with Armand, and everybody was talking about him. So I was like, man, if I can't, because I was at that point, I think he had 7-fight win streak. So I was like, man, if I can't fight the title, let me get this guy. Everybody's talking about him like he's the next he's the next world champ, and so I fought him, and it still didn't really get me a title shot. So I don't know. I'd like to. I'm looking just I guess I'm just looking for the fastest route to the title shot, and then I'm more than willing to give all these guys fights. It's not like I'm trying to avoid of anybody. It's just trying to make this as smooth as possible for myself.
Mm. I also got to ask, man. Obviously, Fiziev, he's coming off a loss here, but there's a lot of momentum there as well. Does he interest you at all in a potential fight? He's a dangerous fight, though, right? Like, but if people thought that he might have beaten Gaethje. A lot of people still believe he might have beaten him in those two fights. Do you think he could be a good potential opponent?
Yeah, so again, it goes back to this. For example, I was set up to fight Moicano. Everybody's like, he's on a big win streak. I was like, okay. And he was ranked right behind me. I said, okay. So right after that, they were like, hey, do you want to fight Fiziev? Everybody's asking me. I'm like, wait, Moicano was ranked number 10 and this guy's ranked number 11 or 12. Why am I keep getting guys further behind me? Why can't I get somebody ahead of me? And so that was kind of the issue I'm having. Like I said, what is it, Mauricio Ruffy,
Yeah.
or Fiziev, whoever it may be. I don't really care. I'm just waiting for the UFC to be like, okay, you're fighting this guy for sure. But in an ideal world, I'm gonna fight somebody ahead of me. If you're gonna ask me who I want to fight, I want to fight somebody ahead of me.
Mm. Yeah, it's interesting as well because like there's ahead of you, you've got Gamrot, but you've obviously beaten him. Chandler, who's fighting Paddy Pimblett. We got Dan Hooker. We've got Max Holloway, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje. Obviously you guys would only really fight for the title. Oliveira and Armin. So it's an interesting time to be in the division. Let me ask you
Yeah.
this. And by the way, any other names that I kind of mentioned there that stand out to you?
No, and the problem is right now, my understanding is Dustin Poirier and Max Holloway are going to fight. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's 100% sealed and done, but that's what I'm hearing. Really ahead of me, all that's left is Gamrot, which he's ranked number 9. We've already fought. I'm not really like. Well, I'm sure we're gonna fight down the line. It feels like we're gonna fight down the line. I would just rather fight somebody else at this point. The only person I can think of is Dan Hooker, but I don't know how long his hand is gonna keep him out and when he's gonna want to come back. I heard somebody say he wants to come back before July. If that's the case, cool. I mean, if I can get that fight, that's ideal. But if not, we'll see who they give me.
All right, guys, it's time for a new year and a new you. Thanks to our friends at Manscaped. Have you sorted all the best products to get you looking good downstairs and all over your body in 2025? Performance Package 5.0 Ultra by Manscaped is your secret weapon for stepping into 2025 sharp, clean, and confident. Don't be the guy that rolls into January looking like you just emerged from hibernation. Let the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, the Weed Whacker 2.0 handle your overgrowth so you can focus on leveling up. Start 2025 with precision because the only thing that should be growing this year is your success and not your scruff. Join the 11 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. Use the code word submission now. Keep this show going. Get 20% off and free shipping today. Performance Package 5.0 Ultra is the all-in-one grooming kit. Of course, I mentioned it before, but I'll say it again. Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra is the best tool you could have. It also comes with the Weed Whacker 2.0 ear and nose hair trimmer. Full aftercare, which helps you treat yourself right with the crop soother, and the crop preserver keeps you fresh and comfortable and confident so you're always ready to move forward. And you get some free gift. Kick off the year with a bonus that elevates your routine. The Boxers 2.0, which I love to wear. They're one of the most comfortable boxers you can wear. And the Shed 2.0 toiletry bag, which I take with me everywhere I go. Manscaped has a 30-day money-back guarantee as well, so you can try it risk-free right now. Use the code word submission. Go right now, 20% off and free shipping. And I just want to talk to you guys about SAILY as well. SAILY is an unbelievable app that's going to change the game forever when it comes to travel, and you want to be covered with your phone. Forget lining up at airports and having to get a new SIM, taking your SIM out, keeping it in a little baggie, making sure you don't lose it. Forget all of that. SAILY has you sorted. All you got to do is download the app, choose the amount that you want to spend, what country you want to go to, and boom, like that, you are sorted. I just went to New Zealand. I was absolutely covered. I didn't want to spend the $10 or $20 or $30 a day that I was going to have to spend because of my provider. I put in an amount. It had me covered the entire time, and I even still have data left over because it was so smooth and easy. One of the things I love about SAILY as well that you may not realize is it actually comes with an ad blocker. So if you're watching videos or doing stuff on the internet, why waste your data on ads? The ad blocker has you sorted, and it comes with web protection as well. You know, malware on your device is the last thing you need on your travels, and SAILY gets you sorted and protected too. So why not jump on right now, use the code word submission, get 15% off. All you got to do is download the app, choose your destination, where you want to go, the amount of money you want to spend, activate it on your phone without having to take out your SIM card, without having to line up at airports, without having to re-sign different documents. SAILY has you sorted, whether you need a little bit of data or a lot of data, whatever your plan is, SAILY has you covered wherever you go in the world. Go on right now, check out the app. It's the most seamless and easiest process when it comes to travel eSIMs that you can experience. Use the code word submission, 15% off. Jump on right now. What are you waiting for? Grab your SAILY today. If you're traveling tomorrow, next month, get it sorted today. Use the code word submission while it's still active. It's 15% off. SAILY.com/submission gets you sorted. Try it today, whether it's a lot of data, small amount of data, SAILY has you sorted. Easy, seamless, highly recommended. Now back to the program. Also get your thoughts on this, man, right? Ignacio beat Jalin Turner via sub after the Ruffy fight later on in the card. And then we saw Jalin Turner retire, right? Which is pretty crazy because for the longest amount of time, and I was talking to Chuck Mindenhall about this on the post show, a lot of people sort of pegged Jalin Turner as potentially one of the future guys in the division. He came in so young, he was so tall, he had so much reach, he had so much potential. Now we saw him retire. His life kind of played out in front of everybody in that octagon. What was your reaction when you, number one, saw him lose, and number two, saw him hang up the gloves?
Yeah, I mean, just a bummer. I don't know how else to put it, but it's a bummer to see that because, like you said, came in young, lots of potential. He has lots of gifts, and you know, he's only 29, I think, right? 29 and
Only
30.
29. Only
Yeah,
29.
I mean, there's still room. There's still possibilities. I don't know why he did that. I think he should have really given 170 a chance too, you know, go to 170, maybe try to fill out your body a little bit more, or don't, or just be able to fight, because maybe one of the things he's missing is experience. He doesn't quite have that experience at 170. So go to 170 and take advantage, fight there as much as you can, you know, try to fight every couple of months and just kind of build a new repertoire and have a different kind of game plan in the fights. I don't know. I don't think I don't know what's going on in his personal life too. That's the other issue. So I guess at this point the best thing you could do is just give him some space. And I don't really know him personally, so it's not like I can reach out and be like, "Hey, buddy, what's up?"
Well, I hope he's doing all right, man. But I do think that it's one of those things where it's like, I always tell fighters this, getting signed to the UFC, like, don't do it when you're like 19, 20. If you can but who would want to pass up their opportunity? No one, right? But
Yeah.
we've seen a time and time again, guys come in at 19, 20, 21, and then you got to play out your whole career in front of the world. It just gives you less chance to fail. It gives you less chance to try stuff. And it puts you on that stage for such a long time, puts so much pressure on your shoulders to be the next big thing that I feel like, you know, when we see guys come in a little bit later or guys, you know, that don't have that expectation, it's almost like a little bit easier. But, you know, what he was able to do and hang in there with some of the best guys in the world, that fight with Dan Hooker as well. Like the guy is amazing. Hopefully he can, you know, hopefully he can get some happiness and a little bit of a break from all the stress.
Yeah, I hope so too. I hope he can just get away from it for a little bit and you know that fire kind of builds up and he comes back. But I don't know. You never know. Maybe he's found something else he likes more.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's been in the UFC since 2018. So that's like most of most of like the, you know, his 20s or whatever. So it'll be good to see him try out some new stuff. Just quickly before we wrap up, Bahamondes, he called out Moicano. He wants to fight Moicano. What do you think about that? Are you happy with this Moicano fight sort of moving on with it not really working out and him already fighting Islam and losing?
Yeah, I'm not sure to be honest with you because I've heard some talks of basically rebooking me with him, but I'm not sure yet. They've mentioned a little bit of that. That's what they might want to do. So I don't know. It's I'm kind of still stuck. This is the same position I was stuck in right after my fight got canceled in January. It's been kind of a weird situation, and it also doesn't really allow me to really get back into shape and really start training super hard because of injuries. You know, there's a balance you have to keep. So I'm at that like, okay, I'm gonna keep my weight a little bit higher because I don't want to get injured and you know certain things I don't do, like I'm not doing a crazy amount of sprints right now and other things. So I've been stuck in this weird spot where I'm training, I'm drilling, I'm doing all this, but I'm not quite going crazy yet. And I don't know, it feels very like you're half in half out, and I don't like that.
Mm.
That's never been my my style.
Yeah, man. I mean, the UFC said they were going to make it up to you, give you something special. I'm still holding them to their word. I want something special. I
Yeah.
want something big. Let's see what happens at UFC 314. A lot of stuff happening there. You got Michael Chandler and Paddy Pimblett, maybe something that can shake out there as well. But regardless, there he is, one of the favorites in the division, one of our favorites, number one in our hearts, Beneil Dariush. Thank you so much for joining me, man. I hope this thing shakes out for you soon. At least there's
Yeah,
a
me
little bit of
too.
movement in the division after this
Yeah, me
weekend.
too. I mean, yeah, little by little, something's gonna happen. I know something's coming. So I'm just being patient and trying to be an adult father the whole time outside the cage. Man, it's so weird because when I'm not in camp and doing other stuff, I literally don't know what to do with myself. So there's a really big difference. You know, I was just thinking, you know, with Jalin's situation, if I retire, I have plenty to do, but I don't, you know what I mean? It's always been like, when's the next fight? It
Yeah.
would be a really difficult thing. So that kind of pops into your head. So it'll be an interesting time when I walk away from this. But yeah, appreciate it.